Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultriva Excel Reports webinar. My name is Lori McNeely and I am your host for this. Joining me is also Scott Stickles, and he is an Ultriva project manager. He's been supporting Ultriva for almost 8 years now.
Hello everyone.
I guess before I go too far, can everybody hear me? If you can hear me, please raise your hand using the little hand icon on the GoToMeeting panel. Excellent, very good. I see several hands going up. All right, so if you have any questions, please use the question box in your GoToMeeting panel. We'll try to get to them as we go through the webinar, or get to them at the very end if time allows. We will be recording this webinar. In fact, we are recording it right now. We will have it available on the Ultriva help site so that you can view this in the future. We do plan on hosting these on the third Thursday of the month, and our next webinar will be in January. We will skip December due to the holidays. And later on, towards the end of this webinar, we will vote on what our next topic is going to be in January. We will be doing these demos in Ultriva version 7.5 and higher. And with this webinar, we want you to gain a better understanding of some of the most common Ultriva Excel reports, what they're used for, how to use them. We are going to have a few short surveys throughout the webinar. We'll give you the results of those. And a lot of the stuff that we will be going over today on the reports, you can find on the help portal as well. We do have a reference guide, so you can maybe get some more tips from there as well. And with that, I think we're ready now for poll question number 1. So Scott, if you could launch that, please. All right. So how often do you run one of these Excel reports, or have you maybe never run one at all? Looks like we got some votes coming in. Give folks a few more seconds here. All right. Maybe the voting's leveled off here, so we can get this one closed. And I am very impressed. It looks like several people, almost half, are running Excel reports every day, or at the very least once or twice a week. And it looks like we do have a few folks here to learn more about them, and because you've never ran them before. All right, so I thought we would go over briefly here show you what some of these buyer Excel reports are. We have a card history. If you do see a little blue asterisk here, it does mean the supplier can also run these reports from their own supplier view. So we have the card history, a card status, a consumption report, a card design, card audit, item usage, a blanket quantity, outstanding receive, although the supplier would have outstanding shipment, some supplier lot information as well if you're using the lot tracking. So bear with me here. We will go through a few things here in the presentation, and then we'll jump into a demo and do some live, look at some live data. But first I wanted to give you kind of an overview of these. If you know, on this newer version of Ultriva, a lot of your screens, maybe your receiving screen or material status, some of these other screens, you can also export them to Excel as well now, but we will be going over these particular reports that you can find here. So we'll start with the card history. So this card history, I find this very useful for troubleshooting when people have questions or issues. You can check to see if a card's been recalled or rescheduled or shipped. just kind of where it is and what's happening at the moment with that card. You do have to put in a date range and select the action that you want to do the search for. And we'll go over, once we get to the demo version, we will go over how to tell what items that you have that are in cycle right now. We'll get to that here in a few minutes. So the next one is the card status. This is very similar to the buyer status report. You get to see where the cards are in the loop. It's just in Excel format instead of on the screen. The consumption report, it's mainly used for consignment items. If you are currently using consignment in Ultriva, raise your hand, please. Ooh, I don't see very many hands going up, so it looks like most of the folks here on the webinar are not using the consignment feature. But if you were, this is a very good report to run so that you can know what to invoice for the specific period. Card design, that kind of gives you the sizing information for each of the items. It's pretty good if you're setting up existing items. You can run this report and double check and make sure everything matches up with what it should. And you can double check your loop size and make sure that it's correct. The card audit report, you get to choose down here in the action box. You get to choose which status that you want to view. This can be useful if you want to do maybe a quick inventory for a particular section or maybe a particular product line. You can search for all of the cards that are on hand, get a nice list, hand it to somebody, and go out and double check to make sure everything's there. Item usage. This is a nice report to share with your suppliers. In fact, the suppliers do have this particular report as well, so they can kind of see the monthly usage and maybe have a look at any trends that have been happening for the last year. The blanket quantity usage report. So within Ultriva, you can keep track of the items that have a blanket quantity, and Ultriva will decrement that quantity. If you're using the blanket quantity feature in Ultriva, raise your hand. All right, don't see too many hands going up. But if you were to use this, it's also good. You should use it in combination with an alert that you can set up. So if the blanket quantity reaches a minimum level based on your usage per day, it will send you an email alert, so you'll know that that's going to be expiring soon. Next, we would have that outstanding receive report, so that you can put in a specific date here, and Ultriva will give you a list of things that have that required receive date or less than that date. So your receiving department can get ready for goods that are expected soon. The lot information. Within Ultriva, you can keep track of lot numbers. You can have the supplier enter the lot number when they ship, or the receiving department enter that lot number when it's received. If you're using the lot tracking within Ultriva, raise your hand. All right, don't see too many folks using the lot tracking. The scan analysis report. It is a bit of a generic report, at least at the moment. It shows high level, just summary scan results. How many you scanned, how many were successful, how many failed. It is a bit of a work in process, so please provide some feedback to us if you run this report and want to see additional information on there. And with this, we are ready for our next poll question. All right, Scott, if you could launch that. All right, I believe you can select more than one here. So which reports, Excel reports, do you run on a regular basis? All right, we got some votes coming in. All right, give folks a few more seconds here and then we'll close this. All right, we'll go ahead and close this one and show the results. All right, can you hide this one, Scott? And then show our results, please. All right, looks like a lot of these first two reports here are pretty popular. All right, thank you. All right, and with that, I think now we are ready to kind of jump right into some of these reports here. All right, I'm already logged in. We'll go to Reports, Excel Reports. So the card history, I'm just going to run this for the current week. You have a lot of filters here. I'm going to run it just for one supplier. I'm going to run it for the Beagles supplier. And maybe I want to see everything that I released to them this week. You can see we've got a whole lot of choices here, between reschedules, recalled, rejected, shipped. I'm just going to go with released at this point. And I need to select open and then yes. Right, give my screen here a second here to refresh here. All right, so we have a whole lot of information on all of the cards that were released. We have our plant code, our plant name. A lot of this is somewhat self-explanatory here. We have our release date and who did it, who did that action of releasing, when the card was accepted and who accepted it. If you do see a dash here, it means this action has not happened yet. So it looks like we have a few cards that we have released that the supplier has not accepted yet. The quarantine, this would only be used if you are using consolidated ship or master label. The cards kind of go into this state if you're using that. If you're not using master label or consolidated ship, you will have nothing in these columns. Next, if the goods were shipped, we have a required ship date when the supplier is supposed to ship the goods. And we do have, if they have shipped it, the actual ship date and time. Who did the shipment? If it was if it was received, when we received it. So when they were supposed to, when we're supposed to receive it, and then when we did receive it, and who did that action. And then also a little further over, we have some newer, maybe some newer columns here. We have your PO line numbers, tracking number, if the supplier enters the tracking number when they do the shipment. If they enter in a packing slip number, the packing slip number, the supplier's item number. So this does give us a whole lot of information, and we know kind of where the card is, at this time, because this one is in the release state. It hasn't been accepted yet. And if we follow along, some of these have already been shipped and received by us as well. All right, and so maybe the Beagles supplier, maybe they're asking us, what do they have, what do the orders do they currently have open? They want to know everything, no matter which state it's in. You can run this report, and they can run it as well. If we choose in cycle, that will be everything that is at the supplier, or in transit, actually, also anything that we haven't received, that we've released to them but we haven't received. I'm going to choose today's date because we want to see what it is for today's date, everything that's in cycle, and we do a show report. And so we can see everything that we have not received, because we see a few things here that do have a ship date, but we haven't received them yet. And we do have a couple here that maybe this item has inspection, and we rejected that. So that put the card back in process for them. And so, kind of the exact same columns that we have when we ran it just a second ago. So this is everything open for them. And I've had that question maybe twice in the last 2 weeks. How do I know which orders that I have open? And this is how they do that. Next, we'll run the card status here. So again, this is kind of like your buyer status. It's just kind of going to be in Excel format. Sorry, I should have ran this just for the one supplier so that we don't have quite so much data. But we can see that we have our item numbers, our supplier, how many's on the card, and then where that is in the loop. What we have on hand, what we have released, in process, shipped, and then maybe the total supplier cards, summary of the total supplier cards, total of the supplier quantity, and our total units that we have on hand as well. Okay, all right, next we will have the consumption report. So I am going to run this for current week. I'm going to do this for the supplier Beagles. And so then this is the one that if you're using Consignment, this is the very good report to run because it will show us, we'll get this open here, it will show us our consumption date, and then when this card was last received. So that way we know how long the goods were on hand and when it should be billed. Very similar to, it's very similar to maybe to the card history that we just ran, except for this does show our last received date. And maybe fewer columns, but we still at least have the tracking number and packing slip number with that as well. If the consignment, that is a flag for at the item level, in case anyone was interested in that. I didn't know if we had a question about that, but in case there is, if we were to go to admin item, and we'll just bring up an item here. And there's a check mark there for whether this is a consignment item or not. All right. So that is the consumption report. Card design, we'll have a look at that. I'll run it for only the one supplier. And for those of you who are new, If you know the supplier name, you can start typing it. It does show up on the list as this just did. But if you were to press the space bar, that will give you a list of everything. And then you can choose it from the list that way. All right, so I actually don't necessarily want to run it for Chihuahuas. We'll just leave it at Beagles, and we'll show the card design report. All right, so the card design, it does show us our by part for the supplier, what our daily demand, our handling time, lead time, transit time, all of the things that we have an admin item for this. And then it will show us the total cards that we have in the loop, and it shows us what the calculated cards should be, how many, based on our entries over here, using the card calculator, how many cards should we have? And next we would have the current loop size. So this is how many cards are really in our loop right now. And as you can see, like on this first item, we do have a total cards of 4, but our current loop size is 2. And the reason for that is we have a couple of non-replenishment cards here. So our current loop size truly is 2. We don't have any cards at the moment marked for deletion. Like for these last 2 items, Ultriva has calculated, based on our information over here, that we have 8 cards, that we should have 8 cards in the loop. But right now we do have 9 cards, so that might be something we want to look at. Maybe we want to go ahead and look at these a little further and take one of these cards out of the loop. So that is our card design. All right, next we have the card audit, and we have a lot of filters here. But I am going to maybe stick with this supplier and maybe see what we have on hand at the moment. We could do all actions. It would show us everything. But maybe I just want to do maybe a quick audit to see what we have on hand for everything here. All right, so looks like we have, what do we got here? 5 cards on hand at the moment. This does give our release ID, so we can maybe print out a portion of this and then have somebody go out and verify that, yeah, this is what we've got. Or based on your needs, one of the things here is that run line. If you have a run line for something, maybe you want to see everything that you have waiting at run line for the moment. So you could do that as well. Okay. Item usage. So we'll have a look here. I'm only going to do it for the one supplier. Now I'll go ahead and do year to date. All right, so looks like we have 3 items with the supplier, and this gives us our monthly totals, our monthly usage pattern for each of these items, and this is one that's really good to share with your supplier. They do have the availability to run this report as well, so they can kind of see the trends. Like this item has had a few ups and downs here. And in case anybody were to ask, which maybe a few astute viewers might be curious, right now we know that we had some stuff consumed for November for this. If you were paying attention, this is showing zeros, and that is because there's a particular service that runs in the background that kind of takes care of a lot of nightly processes to give us these totals, and we do not have this service running on this demo site or test site, and that's why right now these November numbers we're showing as 0 for our usage. We just do not have that service running because we don't necessarily need it. But I thought I'd better bring that up in case somebody decided to ask about that. All right, next we have the blanket quantity usage report. So again, if you were keeping track of the blanket quantity in Ultriva, and before I run it, I will go over here to this other tab and show you something real quick. So I'm here on admin item. I'm going to do more options, associate supplier, and then I'm going to edit this. So right now, this is the current blanket quantity that I have. You enter that, and then Ultriva will decrement. Every time you consume cards, it will take the quantity down for the blanket. And that is how you get that set up. Again, once you do that, you do want to make sure you do add the rule for that so that you'll be notified in case once that quantity starts getting low. And you do that through admin rules. I won't go into too much detail and do the whole thing, but we would select add, and then the one that you would need is there we go. Blanket quantity is below X number of days based on the daily usage that you have. So this is the kind of rule that you would want to add if you wanted to keep track of your blanket quantity usage. All right, I'll go back over here to this tab and we will run the blanket quantity usage report for this supplier. And so it went to this supplier, and anywhere in Ultriva where we have our blanket quantity set up, it shows us what our remaining balance is. And it does also show us our PO number and PO line number. So that's how you use the blanket usage. Next we would have the outstanding receive. And we would put in a particular date. So anything less than or equal to that date. I better jump in here and we'll filter this by supplier. So I want to see anything coming up for this supplier. So it looks like we have a few orders that are going to be due here within the next few days. All right, the lot information report. So if you're doing the lot information for an item or items, this is the report that you would run. I'm going to jump over here to the other tab real quickly again. We'll go back here to admin item. And let's see if we edit one of these. The lot number tracking is here. By default, it's going to be set to none. If you wanted your shipper to be required to enter in the lot information, then it would be required at ship. Otherwise, when the goods enter your facility, if you want your receiver to enter in that lot number, you would say required at receive. And then you, of course, end up saving that. And of course, if you end up doing any of these, certainly test them out in the test environment so that you're familiar with them, and you can explain to the person doing the receiving or the shipping so that you can explain how to do these actions. Because it definitely will change something on their end if you make that change. But I will go ahead, we'll run for the current week the lot information report. So anything that was assigned a lot number this week, that's what we'll show. I'm going to choose the one supplier. So it looks like we were busy this week entering. The supplier was busy with some shipping this week, and this does show the lot number that was given when they shipped the goods, and then the quantity, the lot quantity as well. And same as some of the other reports, this does include the packing slip number and tracking number if you were to need that as well. And also we have our PO number, PO line number. So a lot of that stuff is generally fairly important. We try to keep those on these reports. All right. That's the supplier lot. Next we have the scan analysis report. We'll go ahead and we'll do a, maybe I want to do current week here. Show report. All right, and again, this is one of those that's kind of a summary information. It shows us our total scans. So 60 scans occurred this week. 44 of them were successful. 16 of them were failures. So since this is, kind of a high-level data, if you run this report, if you want to see more information, certainly let us know, and we'll see if we can get that added in a future release. All right, let's see. Let me go back here to our slide presentation. Scott, how are we doing on questions? Is there anything that came in that we maybe need to go through?
There were 2 questions that had come in, and I posted answers to both of those. I'm not sure if there's, it doesn't look like there's anything open at this time.
Okay. All right. All right. Very good.
I posted the results for to all, so they should be able to see those.
Okay. Oh, very good. Very good. Thank you. All right.
Sorry, another one just came in.
Ooh. All right. While you're reading through that one, I'll go over a couple of things here. So one of the things that I would like to do is we'll have you vote on the next webinar topic. So I'll go over what some of those topics are, and then we'll have a vote. So the first potential topic we have are rules and alerts, how to create those. We had a little bit of a quick preview there of how to get to the rules and alerts, but there are browser and email alerts. And also, as a part of that, we would go over how to, a bit of an overview on how to create an alert that looks like this, so that the items are grouped and in this nice little Excel format, a nice little grid format here. So that's one potential topic, the rules and alerts. Another topic that we would have potentially is a scan audit, where you can choose your plant or particular work center and then a location code, and take your scanner, you go out and you scan that particular location that you've selected here, and then once you're done, you would run the report, and Ultriva would let you know things that you should have scanned but you didn't scan, and maybe it would also show you things that you did scan but you didn't necessarily think that you still had on hand. So we would go through this whole process of how the scan audit works from beginning to end. Next potential topic would be the buyer material status, and with that we would go just kind of go through that screen, how to interpret the data, what it all means. And then another potential topic would be the pick list and the pick and ship feature that's available with the internal module between work centers, and we would go through how to use that. So these are the topics. So I think, Scott, if we're ready, if you could go ahead and launch the poll so folks can vote. All right. Looks like we got several votes coming in. We'll give folks about another 15-20 seconds here. All right. Still have a few of them coming in. All right. Ooh, a couple more sneaking in here at the last second. All right, Scott. I think voting's leveled off there, and looks like we have a definitive winner. Looks like rules and alerts. Sounds like a very good topic for the next one. And it looks like there's also quite a bit of interest here in the material status breakdown, so we may try to do those back to back for January, February. And, all right, looks like we also may have some folks that might be emailing me a suggestion as well, so that'll be very good. All right, so let's see, we'll go ahead and hide that here. So were we able to get the last question answered, or is it something we need to go through?
No, we should be okay.
All right, very good. I believe that is all that we had for today. Hope everyone learned at least a few good pointers from the meeting. If you have any additional questions, need additional information, my contact information is on the screen. And otherwise, that is it. And everybody have a very good rest of the day.